We're going to have a look at compound interest today then. I haven't seen a National 5 paper yet without a compound interest type question in it, so it is a topic that you need to know. Okay, if you put money in the bank for a year, it gains interest. That's known as simple interest. If you leave your money in the bank for several years though, the interest found for the first year is then added to the previous balance, then on the next year, the interest is calculated on that balance. So every year, that percentage interest is on a slightly higher amount. And eventually, it doesn't seem like much to begin with, but eventually these amounts really start to add up. Okay? And this is called compound interest. Let's have a look at an example then. Right. Luke invests £600 in a bank for 3 years. The annual interest rate is 2.5%. How much interest will you have earned in the 3 years? So the first year interest then, we want to find 2.5% of 600. Percentage is percentage, whatever way we're asked to do it. Percent means out 100, so we're doing 2.5 divided by 100 times 600, which would be, I'll give myself much room here, £15. So at the end of the first year, we have that £600 that we put in, plus the additional 15, so we've got £615. When it comes to the second year interest, we need to find 2.5% of £615. 2.5% decimal, 0.025. You can, of course, do 2.5 divided by 100. That's all I'm doing when I'm getting that 0.025. Put my calculator over so you can see it. Oh, come on, calculator. That comes out as £15 and 38 pence. We're just going to use normal rules of rounding. So the end of the second year, we had 615. We've now got an extra £15 and 38 pence. Altogether, we have £630 and 38 pence. Third year, we'll do the same again, but this time we're finding 2.5% of £630 and 38 pence. Same way as before. Comes out as £15 and 76 pence. So the end of the third year, I've got my £630 and 38 pence, and I get an extra £15 and 76 pence in interest. So add them together. And we get £646 and 14 pence. The amount of interest over the 3 years then, we started with £600, we've now got £646, 14 pence. So the amount of interest, take away how much we put in the bank to begin with. So if we're leaving money in the bank, doing absolutely nothing for 3 years, we got £46 and 14 pence. Fortunately, we don't get many bank accounts with an interest rate of 2.5% at the moment. Now that was a lot of working. You can imagine if we had to do this for more years, it would be even worse. So I'm going to show you a quicker way. Okay. Similar to the example that I did before with the council tax, at the end of each year, we'll have 102.5% of the original amount. So instead of having to find 2.5% and add it on, I can just find 102.5%. 102.5% as a decimal, it's 1.025. Again, that's just that divided by 100. Times that by 600, we get £615. decimal point, 1.025 times 600 is 615. I then want to do 102.5% of £615. Same idea again. That's a decimal. It's 1.025 times 615. And that works out as £630.38. Last time then, to find out the 102.5% of £630.38, 1.025 times 630.38, and that comes out as £646.14. I hope you agree that's a lot shorter way than the way we looked at previously. Final answer then for the interest, again I just need to take off my £600, so £46.14 interest. But we can do this in an even quicker way. Essentially what I've done here is I've taken my £600, I've times by 1.025, I've times by 1.025, I've times by 1.025. So I have done 1.025 times 1.025 times 1.025 times 600. And I can write that as 1.025 to the power of 3. So it's small, that 3, that should be 3. And that's the number of years. Times the 600, and I'll get straight to my answer. So instead of having to do all these lines of working, I can go straight to my answer. On your calculator, to enter a power, I've got a cubed button here for 3, but if it was anyone at all, see this one, X with the box, and I can put in the 3 times 600, and that will take me straight to my £646. Now that one's actually coming out £646.13, because we rounded something up earlier. It's not rounded up fully when we get to this one. Doesn't matter, discrepancy of pence there, depending on what way you've done the working to get the marks. I would encourage you to do it the quick way, because it is so much easier. I'm going to do the rest of the examples the quick way. Okay, always going to use this method here. Okay, first example then. How much money is in the bank when you invest £3,000 for 3 years at 4% per annum? I always start by looking at my percentage. So I've got here, it's 4%. So I started with 100. I get an additional 4. So that is 104%. 104% as a decimal, it's 1.04. And if you're not sure, I'm dividing that by 100. Oops, sorry, I've hit the wrong button there. There we go. What was I saying? Yeah, to get from a percentage to a decimal, you're just dividing by 100. So I've got my 1.04. It's for 3 years, so that's going to be to the power of 3, and I had £3,000, so I'm timesing by 3,000. My calculator, 1.04 to the power of 3 times 3,000. That comes out at 3374.59. Done. 3 marks. So 3 marks for a short way of doing the questions rather than 3 marks for having to go through lots and lots and lots of calculations. Less likely to make a mistake this way. Let's try the next one. £8,700 for 5 years at 3.5% per annum. Again, I start with my percentage. I had 100%. I'm getting an extra 3.5%. So that is 103.5%, which as a decimal is 1.035. do 1.035, it's for 5 years, we'll do it to the power of 5, and we're investing £8,700. Okay, calculator out. It would be a good idea, if you haven't done so already, to check this on your calculator to check you know how your calculator works. So 1.035 to the power of 5 times 8,700. That's £10,332.87. £10,332.87. Got my pound sign, put that back in. Okay, I'll leave you to try some of these.